What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about: football, basketball, and boxing. Let's get to it. All right, so we got big news in the fight world. Keith one-time Thurman is out in his fight for March 30th against Tszyu. This is devastating news for Keith one-time Thurman. Reason being, he's been very inactive as of late. He just hasn't been performing, and because of that, this was an opportunity to get himself back in the spotlight. He had a pay-per-view opportunity against Tszyu, which was big time, premiering the Premier Boxing Champions fight ticket, opening up for Amazon Prime and the PBC's partnership. Now he's out. This is devastating, in my opinion, for Keith, because now it may affect him getting another pay-per-view job for a little while, which affects his pockets. There is the opportunity for him to fight maybe a Earl the Truth Spence, because there's some history there. People probably would want to see that, and you could put that on as a pay-per-view. But it's going to really depend on his opponent as opposed to just him if he gets a pay-per-view again in the near future. And tearing, they say he tore his bicep, I believe. That's tough. But inactivity can do that. I don't think it's a duck job. I don't think, he's trying to avoid anything. You're too close to the fight date for it to be that. And fluke accidents can happen. So it may not just be because he's been inactive. But it very well could be that he was inactive, revving up for a big time fight, and now doing a little too much, tore something. And inactivity definitely can do that. So that sucks. But to the real fight, what's going to happen is you got Tszyu now fighting Sebastian Fundora. This is a real interesting fight, y'all. First of all, it wasn't even a title fight at first for Tszyu because Keith, they didn't want to make that a title fight based on the weight that they were fighting at. Keith coming up, not being a number one contender in that weight class. So it was mainly for Tim to get an opportunity against a big-time name in boxing and elevate him a little bit more in terms of popularity. But now, Sebastian was already fighting for a vacant WBC title. Now this is a unification. Tszyu's WBO and the vacant WBC will end up in the hands of the winner of this fight. And it's always tough. I can't call it. I'm going to give my breakdown probably next week of who I think is going to win this fight. It's still entertaining to watch. First of all, Rolly and Pitbull are on this fight card, so I was going to tune in regardless. But I still want to see Tszyu versus Sebastian. First of all, it's never easy switching up at the end like this with 2 weeks to go. If you had told me Tim had 3-4 months to prepare for Sebastian and all he's been thinking about is getting at this man, I'd say I think I got Tszyu. But this last minute change, anything can happen. Now the same goes for Sebastian. He was focused on somebody else, and now he's got Tim to look at in that ring. So he's got to make adjustments. But it still opens up the possibility that this is a pick'em fight. Sebastian is a southpaw, standing 6'5" to 6'6" with an 80-inch arm reach. Those measurements make him awkward to fight at 155 pounds. He's slim, he's thin, he can be beat. He has one loss on his record, but only one. 20 wins, 13 by way of knockout. He got a little power on him. Tim obviously got 24 wins, 17 by way of knockout. But he's only 5'9" with a 70.5-inch arm reach. Giving up a lot of reach, giving up a lot of height. I can't stress enough that this is a tough fight when you switch up at the last minute. Some may not remember what happened to Manny Pacquiao when he had to switch up at the last minute when he was supposed to be fighting Earl Spence. Didn't go well for him. Same thing, I remember Anthony Joshua when he wasn't supposed to be fighting Andy Ruiz, and then that fight came up, last minute switch. Didn't go well. Not to say sometimes they don't go well, but you just don't know. So this is going to be an awkward fight, one that's worth watching, but an interesting pick'em fight, in my opinion, and now a unification title fight. Very interesting. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you're looking for. J Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, get at me in the comments. Let's go back and forth. Look for me on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok.